That's good, Brian.
Look, I'm doing something here.
Look at that. They're turned to a
Look at that. Perfect.
crusty brown. You can pass them over to Jimmy, and he puts them in a little container over there.
Okay. That's great. I think these hot dogs are done.
You don't look like a fool on camera?
Okay.
Tony, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Welcome back to Times Farm Channel 3 Country Camp. And Angie.
Angie.
You've met Judy Burnham?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, she's our first female president.
I was told it was a Miss Burnham used to run this camp.
Exactly.
Yeah. She knew nothing about that.
We have some pictures in the office. Lisbeth Ayers.
Yeah.
And then there's also a picture of Mrs. Freeman.
Yeah.
Alma Freeman, from which the Almada Lodge took its name.
Well, Mrs. Ayers was instrumental in bringing the Freemans to
I
them.
thought that was
Okay.
the
time.
Yeah, that was the relationship.
And
well,
my father worked for Mrs. Ayers. That's how I got to know her.
Okay.
That's how we got
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Well, in 1924, Tony, what was there as far as facilities? You had the old farmhouse.
Yeah, the old farmhouse, and we had tents. There were tents on that side for the boys, and tents over here for the boys.
Right.
How many campers did you have back then?
Well, there was 2 trucks came out from the Hartford Times. I think there was 30.
Those were newspaper trucks?
Oh yeah, the Hartford Times. They delivered papers in the morning, in the afternoon, and they used the trucks to bring us out. They put benches in.
Yeah.
And then we just sit in the back of the bench. We never saw. We didn't know anything about it.
How long did you stay on each camp?
Came out by truck, and I say they greeted us here. There wasn't. In fact, the first year I was here, I think they put the well in, the artesian well.
Okay.
I remember them putting that in. And,
Well, I know one gentleman told me that the well served at one point as the only refrigeration.
I would believe that. Sure.
He told me a story about how they raised the old milk can with a rope from the handles. One day somebody tied the rope to the lid, and they lowered it in, and of course dropped the whole can of milk into the well, which contaminated it. And then they drew water from the river and used water from the river. Of course, in those days, where the water was pure and no pollution problems.
Right. We used to build a dam out of stone because there was no dam there. We'd get all the rocks and we'd build it up.
Okay, and that was the old swimming hole.
That was the old swimming hole. That's right.
And that's where
there was a Doris Hutchinson. Is she still in town here?
Doris still lives on Route 6, and Doris has done a history of the camp. Yeah, she wrote
was about
a history.
18 or 20 when I first. She was one of the cooks.
She met her husband here.
John.
She met John here. John was here on a date, and the girl took off. So he said, "Well, what the heck? I'll take Doris out."
That's nice.
She's about the only one I remember way back. And of course, then when my children grew up, we moved to Andover just on account of the Times Farm. We bought land down by the Hop River down
This
here.
is where he courted me. This is where we got engaged. Right there in the, I got a nice picture home of the both of us.
Down on the river?
Right by the river.
Right by the dam there,
I wonder when the gazebo, I don't have
1930 or 1931, somewhere in there.
So you remember it as a camper, you remember the gazebo.
Yeah, I remember when that went up.
And I know Latham Howard used to tell me that when the gazebo went up, that was, of course, a big, big thing, because prior to that, there was no protection as far as rain. If people were down in that area and it rained, there was no place to get in out of the rain.
Yeah, and then there was a brick building here. I don't think anybody remembers that. There was a brick building over on that side of the road. There probably was a factory or something at one time.
Is that right?
And
I never heard of that.
No, I remember that. They used to keep the black children in there for some. They segregated them at that time. I don't know why.
Interesting.
And then there would be bats in there, and you could hear the children screaming at night sometimes.
Okay.
Bats.
Was that part of the barn that was over there?
No barn there. I don't remember.
Okay, that was the building that you remembered as a brick building. And of course, the foundation is still there. The stonework is still there.
A red brick building.
Well, I had been told. Was it a pretty good size?
Oh yes.
Because I was told that building housed the animals, and the Almada Lodge was the what would be the blacksmith's residence, the old Almada Lodge.
Remember that?
And he served as, of course, this would have been back before the 1900s.
No, I don't remember that. I don't.
But
That's a little before my time.
In other words, he was the blacksmith serving the entire industrial community, which was the toy factory here on the camp. then upstream the old grist mill, and then downstream the paper mill.
You had to eat your meals completely, no leftovers, nothing left on the table. And I hated stewed prunes with a vengeance. And you couldn't leave them on your plate, so I put them in my pocket.
Good plan.
Soggy, good prunes in my pocket. And then when I got outside, I threw them up. But I never forgot that.
He was always telling me that.
So what are some of the other worthwhile experiences that you recall, Tony? Something that might have contributed to your...
Well, they say that we had a sort of camaraderie with other boys and girls. We never forgot them. Most of them came to camp with us 3 or 4 times during the lifetime, you know. And you'd usually meet them in the following years as you went along.
Right.
And like I say, we were all underweight, most of us. We all seemed to put on the weight when we got here. And I remember we used to get prizes for being a good camper. At the end of 2 weeks, you came into the house, and Miss Burnham would she'd have a list of the stars that you got.
Okay.
And she'd reach up in the cupboard over the fireplace, and you either got a flashlight or some kind of a book or something for a prize, you know.
The end of the world. You know, I lived in Hartford, and I thought, where is he taking me? You know? That's how far out I thought we came. But.
That's great.
Then there was a Mr. Randall that ran the farm down here, and I remember him. You'd walk along the brook, and he'd be sitting there in a big chair, you know, because he was probably 80 at the time. As you walked along, all of a sudden you came upon him sitting in that chair, and he looked like the devil himself. Long beard.
Well, I understand he owned the whole area. I guess you know, including all of the homes that are, all of that land was the Randall farm.
But
how here?
No.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Okay.
So, Bob, it's great to have you back at camp. You say it's been 29 years?
Ronnie's still here. Ronnie was one of my campers.
Well, Ronnie's been here forever.
I think 28 years, I think he said.
Yeah, well.
He was one of my campers out in Sled Village back in late 60s.
Late 60s. Now, you want to tell us where Sled Village is?
Sled Village is away from the camp, further out down the river. It was for the older kids, anywhere from 12 to 15 years old. And they normally did like little special projects around the camp, and some of them also became like junior counselors later on. They would help out around. So they would go
into the counselor in training program?
Yes.
Very good. And how many years were you with the camp?
Oh, I was here 8 or 9 years. At least, yeah. Nice years.
What would be the most memorable occasion that you could quickly come up with?
Oh, we had so many. I don't know. The hardest part every summer was leaving the camp, you know, because we always had such a good group of people.
You feel that the camping experience all those years helped you in your professional life as it is today?
It helped me in just in life in general.
Life in general.
Because we were in the city, and we never really got out into the country. We didn't, and we would come out here, and we had all kinds of things to do: swimming, camping, teaching the kids camping, taking them out on their first camping experience was really nice.
Okay, well, it's good to have you with us today, and we'll expect you for the second annual reunion next year.
Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
Camp. My name is Alberto Mimo, and I am chairman of the camp committee, and I have with me Bob Ellis, who was here at this camp since 1959 to 1968, and we have a few interesting questions to ask him regarding all the experiences of things he did during that time. I understand that you were a camper here that time. Were you a camper, or what was your...
Camper and a counselor.
Both things?
Yeah.
How did you start as a camper, or you started as a counselor?
I started as a camper right here, in this cabin right here.
Right here, huh?
Yeah, we had, there's 8 children in each cabin, and we had a counselor.
Uh-huh.
And I was one of them here.
What age group did you have with you? Was it a mixed group, or...
No, normally it was, in this particular cabin, we had 11-year-olds.
Uh-huh.
Each cabin had an age group. We had a 10-year-old group, a 9-year-old, 8-year-old. We started at 8 years old.
Okay.
And up to 12, and then we had a couple of the older boys in Sled Village.
Okay. Okay. How old were you when you came here? Let's start from 11. The time that you were a camper, because I suppose you were a camper before you were a counselor. What age group At what age did you come in here to the camp?
11 years old.
11 years old?
11 years old. It was my first, I was living in Hartford in Knowlton Court, so north end of Hartford.
So this was completely the woods. I mean, for you was a total new experience.
Well, this was sort of like living out in Keeney Park. If you know what Keeney Park is.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, we used to like to walk through the woods in Keeney Park, but this is actually like living right in there. It's
living in the wilderness, kind of.
In the
woods, did you stay here for several years? Huh?
And I walked them down to the Hartford Times building where they used to load them up.
Okay.
And the camp director was Hal Hilliard back then. And he saw me saying goodbye to my friend, and he says, "Aren't you coming?" I says, "No, I wasn't. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't get an application in." So he said, "Let me have your name, and if we have any space, I'll give you a call." Well, I walked back home, and I got there. My mother said there was a phone call, and that they want you to go to camp.
That same year, huh?
That same day.
It's the same day. All right. Yeah.
So I got my stuff together, and I was happy. You know,
okay.
I said, I'm going to camp. And then I was fortunate enough. That was the early session, and I was fortunate enough to go a second session. The first time leaving, the kids cry on the bus. They hate to actually leave this place.
Okay. How many kids were total, more or less, at that particular time?
We had, I think there was a total, this must have been close divided between the boys and the girls.
The girls were at the other side,
the girls
correct?
Down the other side, the bottom of the hill.
And you stayed right here at this particular cabin?
Each of us, we had the bunk beds like you see here.
Yeah.
And we were responsible for taking care of our bedding, making our beds. And we had little 4 sets of bunk beds. We see only 3 here, but we have 4. Plus the counselor had a bed to sleep in.
So one counselor was sleeping with you?
One counselor slept with us. And it was, we normally kept it open like this. In the summertime, it was nice and cool up here. We get the little breeze. And we had a little cubby hole that this was divided into cubby holes.
Okay.
That we had our own personal belongings. The camp supplied our shorts and our shirts to wear. And clothing,
okay,
all we had to do.
Very good. Okay, so I was saying that when you were here, you had a counselor and you had one counselor per group.
One counselor. The counselor was responsible for you for the 12 days that you stayed here.
Okay.
He would take you. We'd go down to the mess hall and eat, and usually at 11-year-olds, a couple times during the camp experience here, we'd actually sleep out in the woods.
The camera? Whatever way you prefer.
On Sunday evenings, we used to take we used to form a big line. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you really have to do this or otherwise. Wait a minute, because you're the only one who's going to...
Inside of the lunchroom, all of the campers used to line up, and we take and walk up the hill into this nice area here for our Sunday evening services. And we normally sing spiritual songs, and they'd give us something that was something along a religious theme. And it was for a camper, even as a counselor, when you look at the beautiful trees here and the light going through, it was really impressive. We had a nice cross hanging up here.
The way I feel now, but still.
put on the link to the pool? You put the link to the pool? Yes?
No.
So you go up in the other end and you're working like that. Can you float?
You know what took care of the moratorium? Interest rates. Slow down the economy.
Where you going? After today, you open. After.
Play kickball?
Here. I want you. Light, camera, extra.
Another bite?
I did.
We're going to play bowling. And in order to play bowling, it's very simple. What you do is you bring the parachute down again. Well, let me give you the instruction. You get the parachute down, you bring it up, and then you bring it down again so that you capture a bubble of air inside. And you put your knee like that. Then once you have done that, when I say fall in, you lift your arms and fall on top of the pipe. Bring it up, high as it down. Bring it down again. Put your knees in there. Okay, bring your hands up. Fall in! Okay. You guys want to do it again? Oh, sit down on your knees. Hands up. Okay. Behind or back? Meeting some people. Do we have them outside? Okay. Play all again. You really have to feel like you are in the Everglades. You grab the parachute really tight, and you sit with the parachute up to your neck, like this. Okay?
Take care. I will.
All right.
Thank you.
Where's that camera now?
Has to be up to your neck. Okay, now, the next instructions are the following. I'm going to send an alligator to go inside, and it's going to be walking around looking for pair of nice legs. And what happens when the alligator finds a pair of nice legs? Don't fight. It's going to gently, we don't want anybody to get hurt, gently is going to pull on the person, and the person that gets pulled is going to go, and pull off. Now, while they're doing that, we have to put some music into the place. So first we have to get this thing, first of all I want to see if anybody can scream. So when I count to 3, I want everybody screaming.
Okay,
1, 2, 3. side and look for bare legs, okay? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Where's the screaming, guys? No, don't watch, don't peek.
I heard it yelling.
Don't peek. Come on. The Almada Lodge Times Farm Camp Corporation, and many of you that came to camp knew it as Times Farm Camp. Today, as most of you know, we are sponsored by Channel 3, and we are the Channel 3 Country Camp. Thank you all for coming. We have a spread of years here that I think goes back to the early 20s and goes right through the war years and up through the time that I came to Times Farm Camp for the first time, which was in 1962. And so some of you have to see some folks here that we came to know very with us today. Many of our board members, they are wearing little buttons like this, and they are the directors, the operators of the camp, and we're pleased that they are here today, and please feel free to visit with them and tell them about the experiences that you remember at camp. We now have another full-time employee who is our program director, and that's my son Gary, who was born here at camp and thought enough about camping to go on to school and become a recreation education major, and now he is our full-time program director.
It's good to see all of you. But the most important thing of the moment right now is Boston is leading 3-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Okay. I prepared my beautiful speech about history and things, and Ed just took it all away from me. So we'll just kind of skip the most part of it. Needless to say, the one person who has really led this camp to success through the years is Ed Turn, who is now officially our executive director. We gave him a promotion last year. Of course, we did that, and then we put Gary on as his assistant director, and they have done a beautiful job. With our new multi-purpose building, we are able to do year-round camping with civic groups and churches and schools, nature programs, and this has been a dream come true for our board, and I know a lot of our campers and our friends. It took a lot of community support, a lot of board direction, a lot of hard work, but we did it. Now, Ed gave the year he came, but he didn't add that up for you very quickly. Ed has been with the camp for 25 years. And we hope he'll be here for another 25. Now, very officially, and I will read this, on behalf of the directors, the campers, the counselors, staff, and friends of Channel 3 Country Camp, we are very proud to dedicate this new year-round facility in honor of Ed Turn. From this moment on, this is the Edward F. Turn Lodge. All right.
Get a hand on here, Pete.
Give it to your dad.
Yours?
That's yours, Dad.
I can't say that this has never occurred to me, but I thought it would be on my demise. This is really, I'm speechless, really, because...
Thank you.
And they were here during my time, and they say, oh, that was a long time ago. Well, that 26 years, the first year really seemed like yesterday. The years have flown by. It's great to see some of our, not only our old-time campers that were with us for so many years, but some of our staff members that we haven't seen in many, many years also. Thank you, Board of Directors. This is a great honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have fun, and we'll see you next year. And this is going to go right up here.
Wow.
We surprised you, huh?
Okay.
That really blunts well.
Take that one down in the corner by his desk now.
I don't believe it.
You've earned it.
Mom, let's go down the steps. Go down the steps.
I don't know, but that's where that was from. Last time I came down here, I had to take my shoes off. But see, that's what I keep saying. I need to take off my shoes because I got on shoes.